Especially because when I sit down like this, maybe I'll leave this part of this because they get my bald spot. So you don't have, look at that hair. Can we just, that's Scott Stratten hair.
Yeah.
Now, I'm Michael Portman. If I had Scott Stratten hair,
it's world of difference.
World of difference. I mean, I might have a new book called UnMarketing coming out in when? September?
September 7th, yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know, this is Scott Stratten, and he took the bus out here to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, 2.5 hours from Manhattan. He's actually from Canada, just to come and hang out, which is really cool. So we figured we'd make a little video with the two of us. You have no idea how that's going to go.
Talking shop.
But we've been I almost cursed. We've been talking shop upstairs for the last hour or two, so we figured.
And we've been talking shop for 6 years now, online, right? So this is, you guys even know, this is a long, long time in the making to have this meeting come up. So
we figured we should probably put it
do something
on the camera, yeah, so that
the epic event should be on camera, which apparently is pretty epic. So
well, and the last thing we were talking about was, we were talking about these Tele-Seminars that are very, very popular now, which are great, lots of great content, often. Great idea, good concept, etc. I'm going to take off my watch because it probably makes a lot of noise. But there are some things that we have seen over the past year or so that that we thought we might comment on.
Right. Well, I think one of the biggest uses of these type of things is leveraging other people's already clout and influence, and especially in social media and those type of topics. The problem is you're taught to contact 15, 20 people are all on the same list, and I know you've gotten the emails and the standard typical ones where somebody unknown to you says, please, can you speak on my, or not even please, you should be honored, I'm asking you to speak on my Tele-Seminar. One thing I think we need to determine here is that the position you're coming from. If you're asking me to bring value to your Tele-Seminar, and the audacity of some people saying, if you agree to speak on this for nothing, you also agree to tweet about it 5 times and hit your email list. I've seen up to 3 times to hit your email list 3 times, and we will give you an affiliate fee. Can we understand something here? Me selling your product is not my honor. That's really got to come down to it. I think that shouldn't be an unknown out there. But the difference is, if somebody asks me to speak on a Tele-Summit, I don't care, on a surfboard or whatever they want me to do, if I know them and they're a friend of mine, of course I would. There's no hesitation. So shouldn't your job, if you want to create a successful Tele-Summit sometime down the road, is to build relationships with those people first instead of blindly asking them? You and I get, I think combined, we could probably get asked 10, 20 times a week on some level of this for no compensation except for an affiliate fee where we sell their product. And we really have to think
or sometimes the promise of exposure.
It's almost more ridiculous than we used to get asked to speak at an event, where now it's virtual. So it should be no skin off your back, and we're going to expose you to our list of 12 people. You know what it's sometimes when Scott and I chat about this, we get snarky because that's, I guess, just what we like to do. But this is actually a really serious topic because it's not just around these Tele-Seminars. It's around the whole overall business development, personal development industry. Sometimes fads will pop up. And the initial idea was great. Like, for example, when the idea initially came about to use Amazon campaigns to get to, high up on the list of Amazon, when Amazon was new, you give away lots of stuff, people loved it. But then over time, it sort of becomes... horrible?
Horrible. Bastardized? I don't know.
That's the term. You bastardized the actual point of what you were doing in the first place.
And so one of the things we were talking about is, I had recently... been invited to speak at 2 different Tele-Summits in 2 days. I think I got an invitation on Tuesday and on Wednesday from 2 different people for 2 different Tele-Summits, except that the emails that I received from them were identical. So they were a template, a form. The only difference was the name of the email, of the Tele-Summit that was in there. But they were both promising me, as you said, they were both promising me, more exposure, and you can get a commission, and you have to then, blast your list, which is...
Because everybody else is. And the worst part about that was the pre-done web page.
Exactly, that's right. And so they said, here's what the website will look like. Here are some of the other speakers that I'm talking to. Okay. So then I click on the link, and I'm on this page with my bio, with all these other people who are supposedly in conversations with this person. So obviously a course had been taken. And I don't know who taught the course. I'm not trying to make an issue with the course. What I'm making an issue with is that we sometimes think that form wins over real human connection. So if I just learn what the template is. If I just learn this, if I just do this, do. But really, it's so much more than that. There's an art to building relationships and building these kind of initiatives successfully.
And I'll give you an example of doing it right. Just coincidentally, it's an example of me doing it right. Is I created something called Build Your Following. I remember about a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, called BuildYourFollowing.com. And I was creating an ebook to give away, no product, no selling, so I didn't even ask anybody to promote it. It was asking, 40 or 50 speakers or coaches or authors I know, if you could go back to when you first started out, what would you do?
I remember that. I did that. Yeah.
And you know who I asked? It was only people I knew.
Right.
Every single person that agreed to do that, which was everybody I asked, pretty much, was a friend that I've gotten to know.
Right.
And that's why I had 100% buy-in. And I said, none of you have to promote it.
Okay,
either.
so here's the issue. People are going to say, well, yeah, but you already knew them. So screw you because, then you already knew them.
And I didn't know them 6 months before.
Right. So what did you do to get to know them?
I went to where they are. I went to find my peers, and all I was go on Facebook, more go on Twitter, and go to events and get to know them. And people say that to me all the time. It can be about the book, it can be about the speaking, it can be about your Twitter following. Yeah, but you have a huge following. Or yeah, you already know them. Well, how the hell do you think I got to know them?
Right.
That was my job. If you believe that business is built on relationship, make building them your business. That's everything.
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about in Book Yourself Solid is the BYS list of 20.
Right.
20 people. Put them on the list. Each day, reach out to one, and you can do it different ways. You can comment on a blog post. You can retweet something that that they put out on Twitter. You can offer some praise on Facebook or a recommendation on LinkedIn, or go meet them somewhere, as you said.
If you want me to go on a Tele-Summit, if you want me to do something for you, and like something like Twitter, I get asked all the time, every day, to do something for somebody, and I'm more than happy to help when I can. I see every time somebody retweets
I'd
my
like
stuff
actually,
too.
Can you clean up the garage? Because it's kind of the basement, it's kind of a mess.
See, now I have to do
since
it.
you're my
I was
friend,
called out on it. Well done. Well played.
Well
played. The thing is, I see all the retweets. If you have 5 followers and I have 60-something thousand, you retweet my stuff, and every couple of days I see you doing it, I'm saying that's very cool. It's very nice of you. Now, you got to be careful here. What I don't want people to do is to say, something like Scott or Michael, something I need to know, so I need to kind of be a fake supporter of it. I mean, you got to want to have a connection with it. It shouldn't be, if I retweet him 5 times, he's going to speak my
God, I can't stand that guy Scott, but I'm going to tweet his stuff anyway.
I'm going to retweet it.
Just because he does my damn Tele-Summit.
Because he'll do it next week when I tell him. And that's because there's so many more bad ways. People say, well, how do I automate it? How do I make it scalable? How do I make it quick? You don't automate relationships. That's my rule.
Yeah, there's something else interesting. Is that one of those particular emails that I got for that Tele-Summit, one of the things that the email was attempting to do was to demonstrate what's in it for me.
Right.
And that makes sense. And you see a lot of marketing educators talking about, make sure you understand what's in it for them, what's in it for them, what's in it for them. The problem is that unless you really know them, you don't know what's in it for them. You can't make an assumption that, say, Scott is going to want to do this because of the $3.22 he gets per person on his affiliate link.
But if you emailed me and said, by the way, which people have done, and I've agreed to do them, we know your book's out September 7th. We're doing something on September 10th.
Right.
And we'd love to put that link to sending out to the Tele-Summit. And we know you're too busy, so you don't have to promote it.
Right.
Now I know you know what I'm doing,
right.
and you're trying to say what's in it for me.
Right.
And that's the difference.
Right.
Versus something else I got where I agreed, because I told you a little before, a friend of mine was one of the co-running of this Tele-Summit, and a friend of mine, okay, sure, I'll help you out. And all the speakers got an email a week before saying, a lot of you have been asking about how many signups we've gotten for the Tele-Summit, and we've been kind of quiet not to say, because the signups haven't been good. And the majority of signups have come out of our efforts. This is the people who are running it. And here's the best part. We asked you to speak at the summit because we know you walk your talk. And you're good at marketing and sales. So we're just asking you to maybe just step up and do that. And I blew a gasket. And wrote them back, and I wrote this rant that was of epic proportions.
Scott writes a lot of rants, so you should probably read his blog at UnMarketing.
It was simple, and I said, if we bring the value and we bring the sales, what exactly are you doing? What are you doing for your own event?
Right.
And I dropped out, and 4 of us pulled out from that email out of the 10 speakers for it because of that attitude. It's not, again, it's not my honor to sell your product. And that's really, you remember that. It's not being cocky. That's for anybody watching right now. It's not your honor to make somebody else money. Right. You should be appreciated. There's so many affiliate opportunities out there. Right. You should feel appreciated and taken care of without feeling like you're guilted into something. And that's the things that happen.
I agree. I also think it's a nice it's a nice thing to ask if somebody does the kind of thing that you're doing. So if somebody's doing a teleseminar where they have affiliate things, links, and they ask you to blurb it out. They say, I've been following you for a while. I know you're into this and this and this. I'm not sure. I've looked through your sites. I'm not sure if you do this kind of thing that I'm doing, and I'm wondering if you do, and if you do, would you consider talking to me about it?
And if you'd like saying,
and if you don't, totally cool. I get it. I'm a big fan. Thanks so much.
Versus, can you blog about this? Knowing full well if you read my blog, I don't do that. Right. And that leads to another important point: is the public shaming of something. Where I get a lot on Twitter saying, "Will you speak at my Tele-Summit?" And out in the open to everybody else. Right, sure. Or especially when it gets worse, like, "Can you support my cause or my charity?" Right. I don't like public guilt. Right. And if you
so that's like either if they ask him in public on Twitter, or the same thing on Facebook, posting it on the wall.
In front of other people.
And that actually happens a lot too.
And it makes me look like a prick if I say no. Where if you send me, I had a guy do this a few weeks ago near where I live, so it was an easy event for me to go to if I wanted to. And he asked me 3 times and passively aggressively asked somebody else, well, he hasn't answered me yet about coming or not. Right. I'm like, whoa, look, that's my time. Yeah. If it's my choice, then do it privately. My email's on Twitter, my things on Facebook, everything can be private. I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do, and that's not the way to get somebody to give you something, especially if you're not paying them anything to do it too.
Yeah, but there is actually, which is really kind of cool. Like there are people doing paid teleseminar events. I'm doing one for a group of mediators soon. Yeah, and it's great. They're paying, I think, a fair,
Just because it's virtual does not mean you have to not make money.
Somebody's making money. So somebody's making money. They say, well, no, I'm really using it as a list building strategy. Well, you're making your list building strategy to make money. To make money. Course.
And you always, and whether you're new or whether you start getting asked a lot, always remember that you need to see the value in this. Not the potential value, but you feel like, you know what, I am being valued. Because you'll burn yourself out doing these things. There's never a lack of these new popping up anywhere else. Webinars, teleseminars, teleconferences, name it. You always do.
And then one final thing for me, at least, and then anything else you want to add there. My assistant gave me a hard time recently because there was something that she'd said no to that I said, no, I'll do that. And she goes, I never know. I can never get a read on what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to. It's really annoying, because we try to create good systems and so that everything works smoothly. And I said, it's because it's not a science. Sometimes I'll know someone who knows them, or I just think what they're doing is kind of cool, and I'm impressed that they're trying something different, Yeah,
I drive my assistant the same thing.
And so she's like, I don't know, I'm just going to ask you now all the time. I'm like, fine, that's fair.
We set the system up so we don't get bombarded with it, but we're like, oh, I would have done that. Why didn't you?
Exactly.
I think our assistants both hate each of us. So
this is probably true.
And we love them.
Yeah. So that's it, Scott Stratten, and this is Michael Porter. I'm a huge fan of Scott's, good friend, and I really think you should read UnMarketing because it's about unmarketing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Peace out.
See ya.